Miami Beach. Hot tropical days melt into hotter nights. And if you're not out there where the action is, you're probably in here, catching a quiet moment in your hotel room. Art Deco, MIMO, luxury, or modern high-rise masterpieces. The hotels of Miami Beach have lured visitors and helped make this stretch of South Florida America's premier playground. So, put your feet up, pour yourself a drink as we check into some of the beach's grand old places and check out how it all happened. The hotels of Miami Beach, where dreams of grandeur go hand in hand with grand entertainment and design delights. It was inevitable. Weather, water, sand, and sun coming together in a simmering tropical paradise. It was only a matter of time before people and hotels would follow.
Miami Beach, where every day is a holiday of fun, sun, and romance.
Whether they're historic, modern, or something in between, Miami Beach's hotels tell their stories in stucco, steel, and the style of the times. It's a history author Howard Kleinberg can talk about in his sleep. His book, Woggles and Cheese Holes, is named for those famous Miami modern hotel designs with crazy angular patterns that woggle and decorative holes that look like slices of Swiss cheese. It's the story of the rise and sometimes the fall of Miami Beach hotels.
At the pace in which hotels are disappearing, either being torn down or turned into condos, that somebody needed to make a record of this before everybody forgot about it.
Building by building, beginning with a dirt road now called Ocean Drive, Kleinberg tells the story of the movers and the shakers and their Miami Beach hotels.
The most important people in the first generation of Miami Beach had to be Carl Fisher.
You might say America's playground was born with a bridge connecting Miami to Miami Beach.
It was this bridge which changed the history of Miami Beach.
Developer John Collins built the Collins Bridge, and William J. Brown crossed over and put up the very first hotel in 1915. But it was millionaire Carl Fisher who made the deepest footprints here.
Fisher loaned Collins $50,000 to finish the bridge. Collins gave Fisher 200 acres of Miami Beach land as a bonus. It was Fisher who built Indianapolis Speedway, who blazed the Lincoln and Dixie highways. He now turned his attention to the mangrove growths of Miami Beach. This is the pathway cleared for Lincoln Road.
In the spring of 1915, Fisher helped incorporate the town of Miami Beach, then began carving out perfect pieces of real estate in a place he called paradise.
Carl Fisher saw Florida for what it really could be, the great place it could be, and the great business opportunities that Florida had. And so as a business person and as an entrepreneur, I think he had that greatest long-term vision.
Fisher began clearing land for a place he would call Lincoln Road, cutting it out of a swamp full of mangrove trees. Running east to west in the heart of Miami Beach, Lincoln Road became a shopper's dream.
The Fifth Avenue of the South, where style-minded shoppers find fashions of tomorrow in stores rivaling those of the Rue de la Paix. World travelers have acclaimed this, one of the most beautiful shopping streets to be found anywhere.
Through the years, it's gone through a lot of changes, and today, it's one of the hottest pedestrian malls in the country. Fisher's formula for success was simple. Make it big, make it irresistible, and folks will flock to it like snowbirds to sand. Fisher's PR stunts were legendary. To get the country's attention, he tempted tourists with Miami Beach bathing beauties. And in 1921, he bought Rosie the elephant. Fisher released photographs of her helping build the Nautilus Hotel and serving as golf caddy for President-elect Warren Harding. The public ate it up.
It was like a tidal wave. His advertising, he was a publicity machine. They were grinding things out. When the 1926 hurricane practically wiped out Miami Beach, he told the world nothing happened. I mean, that's the kind of guy he was, and he was so good at it.
This old promotional flyer shows several of Fisher's hotels: the Nautilus, Flamingo, Pink Hole, and the Lincoln. Fisher developed extravagant properties that catered to the very rich.
Carl Fisher really created a Miami Beach brand, and attracted that self-made Midwestern millionaire clientele to Miami Beach.
But Fisher wasn't the only one who saw opportunity here. Cora Wolford was one of the first women to own a major hotel. She opened the Wolford in 1921. And Newton Baker Taylor Roney built the first luxury hotel, the Roney Plaza. When it opened in February 1926, the elegant Roney was praised as Florida's greatest hotel achievement. Not to be outdone, the Deauville opened at the same time, with Florida's largest swimming pool. And to think, it all started with a long wooden bridge that connected Miami Beach to the mainland.
I don't think even Carl Fisher envisioned how big it would be.
From one hotel in 1915 to more than 40 just 10 years later, America's Playground was officially open for business. The year was 1926, and Miami Beach was booming. In only one decade, the beach had gone from having one small hotel to more than 40, and construction was going strong. Developers were snapping up property, and tourists were streaming in from all corners of the globe. Everyone who was anyone wanted to call beautiful Miami Beach home, even if it was only for the winter season. Then disaster struck. On September 18, 1926, a Category 4 hurricane made landfall in Miami. With winds of more than 150 miles per hour, the hurricane killed hundreds of people and devastated South Florida.
There was very little warning. They didn't have these TV weathermen. They didn't have satellites. And at 11 o'clock the night before it hit, the weather guy said, "Batten down the hatches, here it comes." Those who had their radios on at 11 o'clock at night might have heard it. But nobody else did, and along about 5, 6 in the morning, here came this monster storm.
What came to be known as the Great Hurricane of 1926 moved slowly through Miami, tearing apart or damaging 10,000 buildings, including the Wolford, the Roney Plaza and Roman pools, and the Hotel Pancoast. The catastrophe caused the beach real estate boom to bust. Three years later, in 1929, the stock market crashed and sent the country into the Great Depression. Times were hard, and few hotels were built on the beach. That's when Polly Lux came to town. Polly Lux was a former Ziegfeld Follies showgirl. She came to Miami Beach on vacation, took a look around, and saw a future in the hotel business. And by 1937, was reported to be the first woman in the state of Florida to hold a contractor's license.
Polly Lux was a fascinating woman, and she's everything I talk about, these brave people that come down and start a new world. She built her own hotels, and she became a significant force in the Miami Beach hotel industry.
One success was the Atlantic Beach.
The whole family worked in there, behind the desk and telephone operator and bellhops and everything. She always used the family. We all helped her to start her on her way.
Over the years, Polly Lux bought or built quite a collection of beach hotels, many of which are still operating, including the Atlantic Beach, Royal, Majestic, and the Cadet. But Lux wasn't the only one helping dig the hotel industry out of the Depression. Chicago real estate investor William Whitman opened the first major hotel built here during the Depression. The Whitman was called the Aristocrat of Miami Beach and signaled the beginning of a rebound in hotel construction.
It seemed to me that every week there was a new hotel being built. You know, you'd see ads in the paper. The newest hotel. Well, by the time it was in print, There was another one under construction, so it impressed me that this is a town to be in.
The U.S. Army thought so too. When America entered World War II, hotel owners were afraid that gas rationing would keep people home and tourism would fall flat. But oddly enough, it was the war that kept the beach hotels busy. In 1942, Miami Beach was invaded by the Army Air Corps.
I remember getting up in the morning and watching the soldiers march back and forth. I used to stare out the window with big eyes and, wow, look at that, look at the soldiers.
Along with the famous Miami Beach bathing beauties, residents and visitors got an eye full of beefcake and khaki as thousands of Army Air Corps servicemen carried out their basic training, sometimes right on the beach. Calisthenics, anyone?
They took over more than 380 hotels and apartments in Miami Beach to house troops in training. I think 20% of all the U.S. Army Air Cadets in World War II trained in Miami Beach.
One hotel that was taken over was Carl Fisher's Nautilus. It was converted into a military hospital and later became Mount Sinai Medical Center.
Just walking up and down Collins Avenue and watching the soldiers who were stationed here then at the hotels in training. I was looking for Clark Gable but never found him.
When the war was over, many of the soldiers came back, either on vacation or to make South Florida their permanent home. Through it all, the hotels kept going up. But in the old days, tourism here was seasonal. Most Miami Beach hotels and even some restaurants shut down during the sweltering summer months. That all changed with the invention of something we all take for granted now, air conditioning.
Our room contains every convenience of modern resort living, including fingertip temperature control.
People said, what is that? And turn it on. And at the beginning, people charged in the hotels for the air conditioning. None of us in the hotel industry or living in hotels at that time understood what was happening.
All the municipalities and the tourist agencies designed programs to entice tourists here, but it never really was successful until air conditioning.
The first hotels to have air conditioning opened in 1947. After that, Miami Beach hotel owners flung open their doors and embraced a year-round tourism industry, and they never looked back.